Hello, friends. Welcome to Communication Skills for Everyone. Today, let us learn the poem Solitary Reaper by William Wordsworth. This is a lyrical poetry, right, which was published by the nature poet William Wordsworth in 1907. But the poem was originally written on November 5th, 1805. So we can say it is a widely read poem published in the collection poems in two volumes. This particular poem is unique, for it is not based on the poet's experience but on his friend and author Thomas Wilkinson's. Wordsworth has made a note of it in his tours to the British mountains. That's what this very special. So we can say Solitary Reaper by William Wordsworth is written as a recollection, right? Recollection of an overwhelming emotional experience. So it is about the song sung by a solitary reaper. The solitary reaper was singing and doing her work without minding anyone. But the poet was observing her, mesmerized by the song because of the song. He compares the song to that of nightingale and the cuckoo bird. Yet he states that her song is the best, despite the poet's inability to decipher the song's meaning, but he couldn't understand. He understands that it is a song of melancholy, right? Maybe unhappy. The poet listened motionlessly until he left the place. So he was simply listening without any disturbance and distraction. Even after a long time, he has come away from that place. So poet says he could still listen because he was mesmerized. The song continued to echo in his heart, right? That was a kind of echo long after it is heard no more. So this is the beautiful experience left a deep impact and gave him a long lasting pleasure. So then with behold her single in the field, when we look at the first stanza, so the poet describes how the reaper was singing all alone. So here, during one of his journeys in the country out of Scotland, so he saw a Highland girl. So it says, alas, a girl working in the field all alone. So here it says that herself, singing by herself, stop here, gently pass. She had no one to help her out in the field. So she was singing to herself. So she was singing without knowing that someone was listening to her song, maybe unconscious. The poet doesn't want to disturb her solitude, so requests the passerbys to go without disturbing her. She was immersed in her work of cutting and binding while singing a melancholy song. For the poet, he is so struck by the sad beauty of her song that the whole valley seems to overflow with sound. Overflow with the sound. In the second stanza, of the solitary reaper. So here the poet compares the young woman's song with nightingale. So here no nightingale did ever chant. So it says that. And cuckoo, the most celebrated birds by the writers and poets for the sweetness of voice. That we cuckoo bird, right? Which the voice of the bird is very sweet. But here he complains that neither nightingale nor the cuckoo sang a song that is as sweet as hers. This even the bird's song also not that much sweet. Poet says that no nightingale has sung the song so soothing like that of for the weary travelers. For the long song of the girl has stopped him from going about his business or going about his work. He is utterly enchanted that he says that her voice is so thrilling and penetrable like that of the cuckoo bird. So he's just comparing it. He which sings to break the silence in the Hebrides Islands. So here he symbolically puts the forth that her voice is so melodious and more than that of the two birds already mentioned here, right? The nightingale and cuckoo. So that's about the voice of the girl. So when we move to the third stanza, says this, the poet also defects his flight over not understanding the theme or language of the poem. The poet couldn't understand the local Scottish dialect, right? Scottish dialect in which so the reaper was singing. So even though the poet unable to understand, sorry, the poet unable to understand the song, so so tries to imagine what the song might be about. So given that it is a plaintive number and a melancholy strain, so this is a, he speculates that her song might be about some past sorrow or pain or loss of old unhappy things or battles fought long ago. So it may be any of these events or incidences. Perhaps he says it is a humbler, simpler song about some present sorrow or pain or loss or a matter today. He further wonders if that is about something that has happened in the past or something that has reoccurred now. So it may be any of those things. So, in the fourth stanza, the poet decides not to probe further into the theme. So, here he comes to the conclusion that whatever may be the theme of her poem, it is not going to end. Not only her song, but also her suffering sounds like a never ending one. So, this is also kind of a never ending one. So there is no end. He stays there, motionless, and listen to her song quite sometimes. Even when he left and mounted up the hill, he could still hear her voice coming among as the produce she was cutting and binding. Though the poet left that place, the song remained in his heart long after he heard that song. So that's the power of this particular one. So in this particular poem, right, in this poem by William Wordsworth, we can find, right, it the poet uses straightforward language and meter as well as natural theme and imagery. So when we reflect, right, Wordsworth reflected his belief in the importance of the natural world. That's what most of his poems are nature related. So that's what his love towards the nature. The poem here highlights his definition of poetry to be a spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings from the poet and the reader's part. So when we look at this, 32 lines are equally distributed among the four stanzas. So like each stanza follows the rhyme scheme like A, B, C, C, D, D. So this is the use of end rhymes such as profound, sound, still, right? Say when we look at that, still, hill, lay, day, grain, strain makes the poem melodious, right? This is what here he also used some kind of symbolism and imaginary metaphor and all that it goes. This is about what the poem The Solitary Reaper. Thank you for watching. Subscribe Communication Skills for Everyone.